Chair Stedfield. Here. Member Bagwell.
Here.
Member Bonkowski. Here. Member Erb. Member McQuarrie. Member Rosenberg. Member Hastings.
Here.
Quorum's present.
Great. That dedication to come for a one agenda item meeting tonight. That's great. Shows our respect for RTC. So, agenda management notice. I don't think we're going to take anything out of order, huh?
No, Mr. Chair, we will retain the order as posted.
Are there any disclosures for tonight's meeting? Seeing none, this is a chance for public comment on any items, hopefully not on the agenda, that can come forward. If it's on the agenda, we'd like you to come during the agenda. Is it just an open discussion? Perfect. Come on up to the mic then and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name's Laura Thorward.
Push the button.
Hi, my name's Laura Thorworth. I'm with the Nevada Census working on outreach for hard-to-count communities. I just wanted to come by and introduce myself and drop off my card and see if you guys have any interest in working together as partnerships or ambassadors just to promote census engagement and participation in those hard-to-count communities. And that's all from me.
Are we hard to count? Considered hard to count?
You've got hard-to-count communities in Carson.
Sections or areas?
Yeah.
Well, let us know.
This might be a matter that should be forwarded to the city manager.
Can I pass a card on to someone to?
Yes.
Wonderful. Who would I give that to?
You
You've got
can
my
give
card.
that to me and I can pass
Lucia?
it. I'll pass it on.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That's all for me.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Approval of minutes. We got some minutes in the packet. Either changes or a motion, please.
I move to approve the minutes of CAMPO for November 13th, 2019 as presented.
Second.
Got a second?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I will not be voting on this issue as I was not at the last meeting, so I can't tell you if this is correct or not.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstention. One abstention.
One abstention.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're at the public meeting items. Agenda item for possible action, discussion and possible action regarding the federal fiscal year 2020 through 22 Title VI program for CAMPO and the Jump Around Carson Transit System.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Every 3 years, CAMPO in coordination with Jump Around Carson are required to submit a Title VI program for use of FTA funds. The document affirms that no person on the grounds of race, color, or national origin will be excluded from, denied benefits of, or subject to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. In review of the Title VI requirements and the responses provided within the program document, staff believes that both CAMPO and Jump Around Carson are in compliance. So I want to go through some of the major updates. The first part, we incorporated CAMPO's revised public participation plan. As some of you may remember, we updated this back in August of 2019. Something to note that during that update, we met with the Nevada Department of Transportation, and we also met with Washoe RTC. And there we kind of collaborated and we shared tools on how to maximize public outreach. Also, as part of this update, we incorporated public outreach efforts that were performed during the recent transit development and coordinated human services plan. Just to kind of summarize some of the outreach efforts we did with that plan. During 2019, we had 2 stakeholder meetings where we invited folks from Carson City, Douglas County, Lyon County, and we met and we discussed elements of the plan. And we also had an online survey, and that survey was completed in English and in Spanish. And so we kind of incorporated a summary of those events into this document. Then we also, as required, we did updates to the language assistance plan, and we also updated a service standard measure to improve accuracy. I'm going to pass this on over to Dan Anderson, and he's going to go into some of those details.
Thank you, Dirk. As part of the language assistance plan, we have to look at language as far as limited English proficiency. So we did it at the household level using census data from 2017 ACS. So on packet pages 56 through 59, we have the following figures, and I will go through these briefly, but please stop me if you have questions. Spanish is our highest LEP population, Spanish-speaking households. And this is a breakdown that shows our jack routes compared to where these households are located within Carson City. So as you can see, it's pretty widespread, and the good thing is that Jack is covering most of these high LEP areas. The next one down, sorry, it's going slow, is the Indo-European language households, which came in at only 0.6%. So much less than our Spanish-speaking households, but again, still spread across the city. And then you have your Asian and Pacific Island households, which came in at 0.2% of households within Carson City. And again, we are able to reach these folks with our current Jack system. And lastly, we do have other languages as the census breaks it down, which was 0.1%. And this is a view of what it looks like. Also part of the Title VI requirements, we have to look at our service availability, at who has access to our public transportation. And so what we did is we looked at households at the parcel level. Each one of these parcels has at least one dwelling unit. So that met our goal. Last time we did Title VI, we had a goal set at 75%. With the increase in development and everything else, we're now reaching 85% of our dwelling unit and household populations with our Jack system. So total dwelling units that fall within our 3/4 mile buffer are 16,362, and the total within the city with one single dwelling unit is 19,061. So with these numbers, we are able to provide the necessary information for federal requirements of Title VI. So if anyone has questions, please.
Yeah, and I'll add a few comments. So by looking at those maps that discuss the language, what it tells staff is that we're doing a good job by making sure that we reach those Spanish speaking communities, and that we probably don't need to expend too many resources into reaching some of the other languages, just because they're such a small portion of the population. And so we will continue to reach out to the Spanish speaking community, and improve some of the materials that we have at Jump Around Carson. So in conclusion, staff is recommending approval of the Title VI program. This will allow staff to submit to FTA and remain in compliance. So staff's available to answer any questions, and that concludes our comments.
Any questions? You actually have a bunch in here about reaching out to the Latino community to help you make that transition, because I like that the bus drivers are telling you need to have Spanish speaking or some interpreter, at least with the message. And then I was amazed that they go to Facebook. I saw that they go to Facebook for information in that community. So they've learned to do that, so that helps. And then you've got all of the main players for Latino community. So I mean, everything's covered. I think it's a very comprehensive report.
And we do have, luckily, we have in-house resources to help translation needs, and so that's something that's very helpful. So
I assume there's not a lot of a list of 10 words you need as a bus driver, so that they, dinero, alto, all these things, you know.
Dinero might be one
That's
of
right.
them.
So, it's too bad the timing requires us at a certain time, so we have to put one item on the agenda, but that's the bureaucracy we live in, so totally understandable. So, no questions, any public comment? Don't see that, bring it back here for comments or motion.
I move to approve the federal fiscal year 2020-2022 Title VI program.
Second.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimous. Thank you. Next on the agenda is board comments. I'll start on the right-hand side that's empty here almost. Nothing to say. Nothing to
Happy New
say.
Year, everyone. I expect barbecue soon. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Just glad to be back, so it'll be a new year. It's
We'll
been
make it a
couple
high
days.
priority. Your name
Yeah.
tag will be here next time. Or
I am really not
we'll use
concerned,
a
but
big
I
marker
appreciate it.
pen.
But we have to dig and we can find it. Yeah.
So the next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, February 12th at 4:30 here. And last chance for public comment, saying, oh, did I skip you? Oh, they didn't have staff comments on here.
I would like to make a public comment, if that's okay, Mr.
Oh, well, you have to come to the mic and give us your names.
Lucia Maloney,
Just kidding.
Transportation Manager. I wanted to introduce to Campo tonight, and thank you all for being here. I appreciate your convening. Our new transportation traffic engineer, he started on Monday. Chris Martinovich, you may have noticed him. He's been coming to our meetings the last couple months to get familiar with the board, but he started Monday. He comes with a background of over 10 years in the private engineering side at Jacobs, and he comes from a family and public transportation, and so he's really excited to be with us, and we're really fortunate to have him. So we've been assigning him a lot of tasks this week, so he may look a little glazed over, but you'll see him more at these meetings moving forward.
Well, now's the time to load them up. So the honeymoon's still a part of this now, so.
That was that. Jacobs or C.H. Jacobs? Oh, we'll have to talk.
Well, welcome aboard. You have a nice crew to work with. So, any other comments since staff's not on there, I guess, for tonight? So I call for public, and all I gotta do is, I don't think I broke a record, but I'll call for adjournment here. So moved and gone, and thank you, audience.